Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. First of all, we are sorry that we are unable to take physical lectures in the college because of pandemic, this COVID pandemic. So we are unable to take the lectures, but we are having another option, that is online lecture. So we are started with the online lecture. This is my first lecture of business economics for FY BCom. So the name of the chapter is this FY BCom economics has been divided into 4 modules. This today I will start with the first module. In the first module we are having the perfect competition and the monopoly. In the second module we are having the monopolistic competition and oligopoly. In the third we are having related to the pricing strategies, and the fourth module we are having related to the capital budgeting. Let's start with the chapter that is the first module, that is a perfect competition and monopoly. Before starting with the chapter, first of all we have to know about the market. What do you understand by the market? Market means what? It is a place where buyers and sellers come together. They are interact with each other. They are interact with each other. They are communicate with each other. They are sharing the information with each other, and they are doing the activities of buying and selling. And another thing in the market, if you will see, when we can say it is a market, when there is a competition. If you will see a competition over there in the market, we can say it is a market. So the actual meaning of market means what? A place where the buyers and sellers come together. They engage in the buying and selling activity. Next, there are various determinants of market structure. There are a number of buyers and sellers in the market. Then there is a government intervention. The government are interfering in the market, because if the government will not interfere in the market, the sellers will do anything. They can exploit the market. They can do anything, whatever you want to do. That's why the government intervention is very much necessary. Then the factor of production. There are various factors of production available in the market, like land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. We can see these 4 types of factor of production in the market, and the various factor of production we can see in the market available. Then the mobility of goods. Here in the market, the mobility of goods has been taken. Mobility means for transfer of goods from the production point to the actual consumption point. In the market, there are actual consumption has been takes place, and the production place, it is in the factory or in the industry. There is a production takes place. So that production that produced goods has been transferred to the market for the actual consumption. That is the mobility of goods. That means transfer of goods from the one place to another. Then there is an entry barrier. There are various entry barriers. Sometimes the entry is very much easy, but sometimes the entry is very tough to enter into the market. Then there is the nature of product. There are various products are selling in the market, like necessity goods. Necessity goods means what? Food, clothes and shelter. Then there is a luxurious goods also selling in the market, or durable goods is also selling in the market. Perishable goods are also selling in the market. These are the nature of product. What kind of products are selling in the market? And the last one is the economies of scale. Economies of scale means what? That means we are producing the goods and services in the huge quantity. We are producing the goods and services in the huge quantity at a very lower cost to earn a more profit. That is the economies of scale. That means the firm or a company or an industry, they are producing more and more goods and services in the factory or in their company, and that goods and services has been sent to the market, because if the goods and services will be produced in the bulk, that means the cost of that product will be very less. So they get a cost of advantage over here. That's why it is called as the economies of scale. Let's start with the actual chapter, that is market structure. That in the first module only we have to study about the perfect competition. See here they had mentioned. I will highlight with the highlighter, so you will come to know. See here, this only we have to study in the first module. This one, perfect competition, and in the second part we have to study about the monopoly. In 12th standard also we had studied about the perfect competition and monopoly. Oligopoly also I had studied, and we had studied, and the monopolistic competition we had studied. These are the 4 types of competition we will see in the market structure. So let's start with the perfect competition. What do you understand by perfect competition? See, name itself indicate perfect competition. Perfect competition means what? Where there are large number of buyers and sellers coming in the market. The sellers are selling the identical or the homogeneous product in the मार्केट विद द आइडेंटिटिकल प्राइस. मीन्स क्या, इसका मतलब क्या है कि जहां पर बहुत सारे सेलर्स एक जगह पे आते हैं मार्केट में और अपना सेम टाइप का प्रोडक्ट सेल करते विद द सेम प्राइस. जहां पर प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं रहता है. डिस्क्रिमिनेशन मतलब अलग अलग कस्टमर को अलग अलग प्राइस प्रोवाइड नहीं की जाती. ईच एंड एवरी कस्टमर को सेम प्राइस प्रोवाइड की जाती है. उसको बोलते हैं परफेक्ट कॉम्पिटिशन. See, there are various features of perfect competition. In the first one is the homogeneous product. Homogeneous मतलब what? the sellers are selling the same kind of product. That means if the one seller is selling the vegetable, that means all 10 or 5 sellers will sell the vegetables only. Next, there will be a large number of buyers and the sellers in the market. This is the market where you can get the large number of buyers or large number of sellers in the market. No artificial restrictions. In this kind of market, there will be no artificial kind of restrictions. No government restrictions is there, because the government will not interfere in this type of market. Next, no transportation cost. Here there will be no transportation cost. Why there will be a no transportation cost? Because this competition is confined to one place only, one area only, one area market only. That's why there will be a no ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट. किसी को मार्केट के बाहर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है ऐसे टाइप के मार्केट में, क्योंकि अगर हम लोग कंसीडर करते हैं तो सिर्फ हम लोग अगर एग्जांपल लेंगे तो सिर्फ श्रीवर्धन के मार्केट के बारे में ही परफेक्ट कंपटीशन की स्टडी करेंगे. दैट्स व्हाई देयर विल बी अ नो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट. वी विल नॉट कंसीडर कि वन मार्केट ऑफ श्रीवर्धन और वन मार्केट ऑफ वाशी. नॉट लाइक दैट. वी हैव टू कंसीडर ओनली वन मार्केट where there are large number of sellers. Next, perfect knowledge of price and technology. In this type of market, the sellers or the buyers should have the perfect knowledge about the price and the technology. What is the new technology has been brought in the market, and what is the price of actual product, and what and the sellers and the buyers should have the perfect knowledge about the market. And the last one is the free entry and free exit. In this type of market, anyone can enter the market. Those who want to enter the market, they can enter the market, or those who want to exit the market, they can easily exit the market. No restrictions is there. Next, there are various examples I had mentioned over here. I had mentioned the examples of the perfect competition. See here, first the agricultural market. That means if you see the market of the vegetable, they are selling the homogeneous product with the equal price, with the uniform price. Next, free softwares. Those who are selling the free softwares also, they are also having a homogeneous product or with the identical price. And the last one is the street food vendors. Like अगर इसका एग्जांपल अगर हम देखेंगे तो वड़े पाव की गादी लो, या फिर समोसे पाव की गादी लो, या भेलपुरी की गादी लो. That means they are selling the homogeneous product or they are having the uniform price. That is the meaning of actual meaning of perfect competition. These are the examples of perfect competition. Next, we will start with the topic. There is a price determination under perfect competition. Before starting with this topic, first of all, we have to know what do you understand by the market demand, what do you understand by the demand, and what do you understand by the supply. If you understand these two concepts, directly you will come to know the price determination under the perfect competition. In this price determination means what? We are determining the price, at what price the supplier has to sell that product, and at what price the customer has to buy that product. This is the meaning of price determination under perfect competition. Let's start with the market demand. Market demands means what? If suppose in the market, if the price of the product is very less, the demand for the product will be very high. See here they had mentioned the price of potato. When the price is 20, the demand for the potato will be 700. If the price is 40, that means price increases from 20 to 40, the demand for the potato will be decreases. Then the price is 60. If the price is 60, the demand for the if the price has been increased from 40 to 60, the demand for the potato has been decreased from 500 to 350. As the price increases, the demand for the product has been decreases. This market demand we will consider from the consumer point of view. Okay. Nextly, let's take with the example of supply. That is here the price of potato. When the price of potato is 20, the supply in the market is 100. This we will take from the point of supplier, those who are producing the goods and services. When the price increases from 20 to 40, the supply in the market will also increases from 100 to 200. As the price of the potatoes will increases, when it reaches to 100, see here, when it reaches to 100, the supply in the market is 700. So in this market supply, we had seen that when the price increases, the supplier will supply more in the market. This shows a direct relationship between market supply and the price of the potato. And in the demand, it shows the opposite relationship or the inverse relationship between price and the quantity demanded. So let's start with the now actual topic, that is the price determination. At what price the sellers will sell in the market and at what price the buyers will buy in the market. इसमें क्या होता है कि buyers को भी affordable होना चाहिए buy करने के लिए, और sellers को भी affordable होना चाहिए sell करने के लिए. तो see here at price 60. Here they had mentioned at price 60, the demand for the product is 300 and the supply of the product is also 300. That means this is the point at price 60 the buyers can buy the 350 kg and the suppliers can supply 350 kg of potato. So this is the equilibrium price where my demand is equal to supply. This same thing they had explained with the help of diagram. See, on the x-axis they had taken the quantity supplied, and on the y-axis they had taken the price. So here see they had mentioned the equilibrium, the quantity where the price has adjusted so that the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. That is the meaning of equilibrium price or the price determination under perfect competition. And ahead they had mentioned the amount that the buyers are willing and able to purchase matches the amount that the producers are willing and able to sell. That means buyers को भी buy करने के लिए अफोर्डेबल होना चाहिए और सेलर्स को भी सेल करने के लिए अफोर्डेबल होना चाहिए. तो जब ये दोनों पॉइंट जब मिलते एक जगह पे सेम हो जाते हैं, दैट मीन्स उसको बोलते हैं इक्विलिब्रियम पॉइंट. सी इन द डायग्राम ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस आई हैड टेकन द क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड, ऑन द वाई एक्सिस आई हैड टेकन द प्राइस. दिस इज द कर्व ऑफ सप्लाई, दैट मीन्स अपवर्ड मूविंग फ्रॉम लेफ्ट टू राइट. सी हियर when the price increases, supply will also increases. This blue line indicates the supply and the red line indicates the demand. That means when the price increases, as the price goes up, the demand for the product will be decreases. That means this is the point. See, this is the point where we can say it is the equilibrium price where my demand is equal to supply, where my supply curve intersect the demand curve. This is the price. I can say it is the equilibrium price. So this is the concept of price determination under perfect competition. Let's start with the next topic. This is the most important topic in our syllabus, that is a short run equilibrium under the perfect competition. Sometimes see the sellers are selling their product in the market, but it's not necessary कि वो जो suppliers जो market में है वो हमेशा profit में रहे. Maybe sometimes he will bear a loss also, he will bear a supernormal profit also, he will bear a normal profit also. So there are various situations in the short run. Let's start. We will see in this chapter कि what kind of situation will be happen. हम हमेशा ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मेरा business हमेशा एक ही situation में रहेगा. There will be ups and down in the business. There will be ups and down in the market. So according to the situation, our business position will take place. See, in the short run, here they had mentioned in the short run the firm's output, that means supply, can be changed only by variable factor. Why variable factor? Because variable factors are getting changed because they are variable in nature. They can change anytime. Like labor force, if the labor force will work overtime, that means they will produce more and more goods and services, and the supply will be increased in the market. And the fixed factor like machinery, it can't be changed because it is a fixed for a lifetime. Okay. Next, there is no enough time for the new firm to enter in the industry, because if the new firm wants to enter into the industry, they don't have enough time, because to enter into the industry it will require some more and more time, and till that time the market has been reached ahead, and so many changes will come into the market, and because of that they will take enough time to enter into the new enough time for the new firm to enter into the industry. Nextly, further, if the demand is increases, the supply can also increases only up to the existing production capacity. जितनी प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी है, अगर समझो मेरा इनकेस अगर मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट का डिमांड बढ़ गया तो उसका सप्लाई भी क्या होगा, मार्केट में इंक्रीज हो जाएगा, बट वो जो रहेगा जितना मेरी प्रोडक्शन की कैपेसिटी है टिल दैट पॉइंट ओनली, उसके आगे नहीं होगा. सी नेक्स्ट पॉइंट में क्या बोले उन लोग ने, अ फर्म इन द शॉर्ट रन इक्विलिब्रियम में फेस वन ऑफ दिस सिचुएशन. देखो, इन द शॉर्ट रन अ फर्म कैन बी इन द सुपर नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट वेयर द प्रॉफिट इज मोर देन द नॉर्मल सिचुएशन. हियर दे विल बी इन द नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट, they will suffer a minimum losses or maybe a shutdown point. Maybe कंपनी यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट ऐसा आता है जहां पर हमारी कंपनी बंद भी हो सकती है. लेट्स सी विद द हेल्प ऑफ डायग्राम के उन लोग ने क्या एक्सप्लेन किया. दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डायग्राम. सी बहुत गौर से देखिए डायग्राम को कि तुम लोग को मैं ईच एंड एवरीथिंग एकदम स्लोली एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. सी द फर्स्ट सिचुएशन दे हैड मेंशन दिस सुपर नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट. सी a firm can get a supernormal profit. That means supernormal profit means what? Where my average revenue, see my average revenue is greater than average cost. जहां पर मेरा revenue is greater and my cost is very less. See on the x-axis, in the first diagram A, they had taken on the x-axis they had taken the output, on the y-axis they had taken the total revenue and the total cost. Okay. this is this curve where I had highlighted with the yellow point. It is the average revenue and marginal revenue. Always remember, in the perfect competition, my perfect competition curve is horizontal in nature. That is, it is a horizontal in nature. It is not a sloping downwards from left to right. In monopoly, it is a sloping downwards from left to right. But in this situation, it is a horizontal in nature. Let's start with this. This is the line I had highlighted with the yellow point. It is the average revenue or is equal to the marginal revenue. Always this point is equal to average revenue, and marginal revenue will be the same. Now see, supernormal profit means what? Average revenue is greater than the average cost. This is the curve where I had highlighted. This is the curve. This is the short run. S means short run. Average cost. Okay. This curve is my short run marginal curve. Okay. Where, see here, they had intersect on the point E, that is called as the equilibrium point, when my marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. See here on the top they had mentioned the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. This is the point where my marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. Next, let's start. Now if you want to see how the supernormal profit has been incurred, see my average cost. This one is my average cost and this one is my average revenue. See, my average revenue line is greater here on the upper side and my average cost curve is downwards. So that means my average revenue is greater than the average cost. So that's why this is the shaded portion. The arrow here they had mentioned, it is the supernormal profit, where my average revenue, that means this line, average revenue, this line is greater than the average cost curve. That means that's why it is called as a supernormal profit. Next, the firm can be in a normal profit situation. In the normal profit situation, my average revenue is equal to the average cost. See, same here they had given us one line, that is average revenue and the marginal revenue curve. There, this one is the average revenue is equal to the marginal revenue. This curve is called as a short run average curve. This one and this one. This curve is the marginal cost curve. So marginal cost curve, see, intersecting here, that means marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. It is called as a equilibrium price. And here in this situation, normal profit situation, where my margin average revenue is equal to the average cost. See here, average revenue curve. This one is my average revenue curve and this one is the average cost curve. They are intersecting over here. That means they are in a normal profit situation where my average revenue is equal to average cost. And the last situation is a firm can incur a loss also. A firm can incur in the loss situation also. On the x-axis I had taken the output and on the y-axis I had taken the total revenue and the total cost. See here also I had drawn a one line, that is the average revenue or the margin is equal to the marginal revenue. This one is the marginal cost curve where it is intersect with the marginal revenue. That's why it is called as a equilibrium price. See, I had highlighted on the top, that is a marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. This is the situation where the company bear a loss. Why they are bearing the loss? Because the average cost curve, see, I am highlighting with that highlighter, that is short run average curve is greater, that my cost is greater than the average revenue. That's why this is the shaded portion is called as a loss portion, where a company bear a loss because their average revenue, see, I am highlighting on the top, my average revenue is less than the average cost. In this situation, the average cost is greater and the average revenue is less. Let's start with the Again, I am repeating one by one. In the supernormal profit, my average revenue is greater than the average cost. That's why it is called as a supernormal profit. In the normal situation, my average revenue is equal to the average cost. And the last one is the loss portion. My average revenue is less than the average cost. That's why it is called as a loss portion. Here we had come to an end with the first chapter of module first. If you are having any doubts regarding this chapter, you can contact me on my mobile number or you can contact me through my mail ID. Thank you very much.